A very good evening to everyone. Welcome to Global Online. And in this session, as you all are aware, that we are starting with our uh, preparation for UGC NET, that is your UGC NET with respect to June 2024 cycle. And in this, we, as you all know, that we have taken paper one, a preparation wherein we are practicing the questions on recent topics, and these recent topics are from the topic that is Swam Prabha channels and theories of learning. So these are the two topics and some more additional which we'll be dealing today from the unit Teaching Aptitude, that is paper 1. And yes, a very important announcement before we start with the session for the day. Your next new batch, please remember, the next new batch for your UGC NTA NET will be starting from 5th of Feb. So 5th of Feb 2024. You have your new batches which will be starting live on app. So kindly, it's an important announcement. Make sure that all those who want to join this batch, how and exactly what is the process, that I will be telling you at the end of the video. Make sure that you are staying tuned till the end so that you can take a decision wisely of joining the course and making sure that you're cracking your examination in June 2024 cycle. So here comes our first question for the day. I will start with the session without wasting further time. So yes, so the question is, how many channels are there in Swayam Prabha Bouquet? Now please remember, this is a confusing question. Now, as and when the exams are updated, it is very important for you. You need to update your knowledge with respect to all these online platforms. So if we remember Swayam Prabha initially, so if I go one and a half year back, it was 32 channels direct to home, DTH channel. Then we had 34 DTH channels. Okay, so now whether it is 34 or it is 23, 30, 43 and 40 channels, so it's very important that the topics which you are doing, okay, just make sure that some factual topics which are being taught to you, know, you are updating yourself on these figures, facts and figures. Like for example, the total number of universities also. So in higher education, we are going to study the topic of universities. How many you have central universities? What are the state number of universities? What are the dream private universities? So you should make sure before the examination, tomorrow if your examination is scheduled, you just go to the UGC website and see how many universities are been updated. What mistake you people do is that if the edition of the book is 2 years back or 3 years back, you just refer that edition itself and you keep on learning those number of factual information, but which is not right. You need to update every now and then, right? So yes, so how many channels are there in Swayam Prabha Bouquet? So is it 23, is it 30, is it 43 or 40? So if we look at the total number of channels of Swayam Prabha, so there are actually 40 channels. So please try to go on Swayam Prabha portal. You can see channel 40. So if it has been updated, earlier it was not updated. So there are total number of channels which are available. So there are 40 channels which comes under this Swayam Prabha, that is DTH channels, direct to home channels of Swayam Prabha, and there are numbers are 40, right? So now let's come to the second question. Now see, we have been doing this question every now and then, but how the question has been tricked out and how the question, is sounding like it is out of the syllabus. Okay, just let me complete the question, then we'll come to it. Which among the following is an incorrect action verb for comprehension level? Okay, so first of all, the moment you see this incorrect action verb, you feel that, okay, where have I learned this topic? Now, as you all know that I'm taking teaching aptitude, so it belongs to teaching aptitude. But in what section of teaching aptitude, what part of teaching aptitude is not clear? So which among the following is is an incorrect, just a minute, odd man out. So it is like, what is the meaning of this question is that which of the following is an incorrect action verb for comprehension level? So when I say incorrect action word, it means that it is odd man out. So we have convert, we have applaud, we have paraphrase, we have summarize, right? So in comprehension level, so we should know that where this topic comes to, for which topic this particular question is based on. So it is action verb. So as you all know that we have studied something, with reference to Bloom's taxonomy. We have studied very well taxonomy, nothing but principles. That's taxonomy is nothing but, the term principles, which talks about the teaching learning. So like that, Benjamin Bloom has given certain principles, okay, in the form of what? In the form of, either they are known as Bloom's principle, or they are known as, the taxonomies. So in that, we are going to talk about incorrect action verb. So let's understand this taxonomy first. So yes, it is applaud. Now, how it is applaud and why, please let us have a look at it, right? So if you look at the taxonomy, which talks about, the knowledge, the comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation, right? So if you see, comprehension is something which refers to comprehend, okay, where the learner understand the messages. It is talking about, the consequences, the material being transmitted, or the consequences. And we have some verb charts, okay. Verb charts are given for every level. So here it talks about what? It talks about, conversion. If you can see over here, it talks about converting, it talks about paraphrase, it talks about, summarize. So these are nothing but they are the action verb. But out of given them, one is which is incorrect, which is not an action verb. So the term is called as what? Applaud. So rest of the action words, okay, convert, we have paraphrase, we have summarize, review, predicts. And if you remember, in one of the class, in my theory class itself, when I took this topic, I made it very sure that please make sure that you read this verbs. At least you go through these verbs and try to understand what is mentioned in it, right? Okay. Now, coming to question number 3. Now, question number 3, we have two statements. So, statement 1 and statement 2. So, let's read out the statement. Classroom assessment of learning, particularly beyond the early elementary grades, has been based almost exclusively. So, you're talking about what? You're talking about evaluation, right? It talks about the assessment of learning, particularly beyond the elementary grades, okay, early elementary grades, that has been based almost exclusively. Okay, it is basically talking about what? It is talking about the grades which has been based exclusively. So statement 2 says that authentic tests do not ask learners to display their skills and behaviors in the way they will be displayed outside the classroom in the real world. So here it talks about the assessment. At one point of time, it talks about classroom assessment, and it talks about the authenticate test, okay, which is to be reflected outside the classroom. So for this given two statements, whether we need to understand statement 1 is right, statement 2 is right, statement 1 is correct or incorrect, or it is vice versa. So when we talk about statement 1, classroom test of assessment of learning, particularly beyond the elementary grades, has been almost exclusively, yes, there are certain things which is beyond the grades, and they have been termed as what? They have been termed as it is exclusive, okay. So you don't have to, talk about it in a very different way. Students know it is really, it matters a lot. But our statement 2 says that authenticate tests do not ask learners to display their skills and behavior to be displayed outside the classroom in the real world. So if you look, maybe you're not aware of this statement, or if you do not know, now this much you can understand: the learners to display their skills and behavior um, outside the classroom in the real world, okay, do not ask. So but if you remember very well, and that's what we've been studying, outside the classroom, okay, once you are cleared with your higher education or whatever education you are taking, in this particular scenario, Your education no doubt matters a lot as an importance of your certification, but your skills and behavior are equally important. So definitely they do not ask the learners, can it be a right sentence? Definitely not. So this statement will turn out to be what? Incorrect. And we know classroom assessment after the elementary grades is being exclusive. So now you have understood the statement. Now it becomes easier for you to come to the answer that yes, statement 1 is very, very highly correct, whereas statement 2 is incorrect. Is it clear? Okay. Now, talking about your next question, direct instruction strategies. So there is a strategy, that is direct instruction strategies are indispensable for achieving content mastery and over learning facts, rules, and action sequences. Identify the correct sequence of this direct instructional sequence for learning mastery. So let's make this question very simple. In order to learn or to master a specific subject topic, what type of direct instructional sequences are followed, or what type of in sequences are listed, right? So whether it is what are the steps to monitor, to diagnose, to teach, to reteach, to provide feedback, to present the content, or to practice. So these are the steps which they have given, and they are telling you to put it in the sequence, direct instructional sequence for learning mastery. So whether it is, it is to monitor, it is to diagnose, it is to teach, it is to reteach, it is to provide feedback, it is to present the content, or it is to practice. So make sure that, you just maybe, again, you are very new to this type of question. So if you want to give an instruction in the classroom, what sequence will you follow? Will you first give a feedback? Will you first go for a reteach? It's very big, common things, right? How, list out something which can be definitely, in sequence. So like, for example, when we will teach or reteach, only when we get what? We are being provided with feedback. When the feedback will be provided, if something, if you are able to provide something, learn something, okay, if you are able to practice something, for that what does is required? For that, it is very important to present the content. For that, what is required? It is important to monitor, or to evaluate, or to diagnose the content. So how can be a sequence set in order to give the instructions for learning mastery? So if you look at it, okay, so yes, so sequence starts with your monitoring. First you monitor, obviously. Then you present the content. You try to understand the capacity, the power, the preparation, and all those factors. You present the content. And once you present the content, you will definitely practice, provide a feedback, and then you go for what? You will go for a teach or reteach, depending upon the level of understanding, depending upon the level of, the consent. And based on that, these all factors will fall in place, right? Okay. Now, coming to the next question, you have matched the following. If you remember, learning theories and approaches, I have done in the classroom. In the live class of app also, I've done this concept. So now I have taught you classical conditioning, operant conditioning, social learning theory, constructivism. If you remember, constructivism founding a base, social learning theory to give you an idea about what happens in the outside world. So in these respect, what type of, who has brought up these theories? So classical conditioning was brought by whom? Operand was brought by whom? See, this is very, very factual. It's very important. In case if you're not aware of these factual questions, it will be very difficult for you to, score marks for this. So if you see, actually, classical conditioning was the one which was brought by Ivan Palio. Those who have answered the questions, please see whether your answers are right or not. Operant conditioning was brought by Skinner. Social learning theory was brought by Bandura, as well as constructivism was something which was brought by whom? By Levi-Vygotsky. Is it clear? So your right answer stands to be your option number 3. Fine. So I hope these concepts which you are doing, small concepts, you are able to capture the topics and try to learn. At the same time, I told you, if you want to join the upcoming new batch, which is scheduled from 5th of Feb, how to join this new batch? You can just go to the Google Play Store, download our app, Global Online app, registered yourself with a registered mobile number. Here you can select paper one. Once you get a fees payment is done, you get an access to all the content in the form of lectures, lectures without wasting time, demo lectures by the faculty members, Hindi, English, weekly tests, evaluation test, notes, mock tests. This is all will really help you out to your preparation. That's all for the day. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next class. And don't forget about the announcement that our next live classes are starting from next Monday itself. Thank you, everyone.